I'm sure you've held back on marketing your business because you weren't sure your offer or results were enough. And when that doubt creeps in, it's easy to assume that you need a new offer. But what's really missing is a system to capture and show the results you've already are creating for your clients. That's why today I've brought on Ashley Rose, an automation and Airtable expert who has helped hundreds of coaches move off of spreadsheets and into streamlined systems. As the founder of Systems Over Stress, she shows business owners how to scale on part time hours without sacrificing client experience. This episode is going to show you why systems will make you more confident growing your business, and it will give you the practical tactics to track results, to support your clients, and actually create content that will help you sell. So, go grab your notebook and enjoy this amazing episode that I have with Ashley. I would be remiss to talk about marketing that works and not talk about the systems and the processes that actually make it work. And so that's why I'm so excited to have Ashley Rose here today to talk all about her her signature program, but not only that, like the signature application software that she's like everybody should be using to run their business, Airtable. But I want to honestly, let me stop here. I have been like lurking and like looking at all of her things for a very long time. I am currently using her content schedule hub for all of my content planning. So I just wanted to take this from like a personal side of just like, please listen to her. When she says things, please take notes, please listen, please do what this lady says because it's going to change and revolutionize the way that you run and do your business, okay? So that's on a side personal note. But for the people who don't know you, what it is that you do, Ashley, can you please introduce yourself for everyone here today?
Yes, thank you so much. It's so nice to talk to people who use the systems and know Airtable because it's just going to be such a fun conversation. But my name's Ashley and my company is called Systems Over Stress, and I take that very literally in both my personal and my business life. If I am stressed out, there is a system that can solve for it. And so many business owners are stressed out, they're overworking, or they don't have enough clients, and there's just a lot of anxiety. And really, I've found that systems, when you really think about things in a systems way, just everything works a lot smoother. And the tool and the software that like every service provider and every coach and every business owner needs to create their systems is Airtable. And Airtable is a fancy but very simple database software. We'll get into what it all can do. But I've created systems and solutions inside of Airtable for coaches and service providers to manage their content, track their clients, track their client results, automate their onboarding, their offboarding, their re-sign processes, all inside of just one central app, Airtable.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of times when people hear about, okay, new software, new thing, I get people that are just like, okay, well, like I'm not a systems person. I'm not someone that like does all of these things. I have a process that works. So one of the things that I believe is the system that works is a system that you're actually going to use. Mm-hmm. So like that's first and foremost. But at the same time, I always question, is it working the way that you actually need it to be working? And so when I say that, it's mostly because I see a lot of people that say like they have systems, they have things that are in a place, but they don't always feel ready to be able to do the things that they actually want to do. So actually, my question for you is, why do you see that so many people feel as if they're not ready to really go out and run their business the way that they want to? Like, what are the things that you see are missing a lot of the times?
Yeah, there's a couple things. One, people think if they're not booked out yet, they think systems are for people with 50 clients. Systems are a later thing. Like what I'm doing is working right now. And if it's truly working, that's great. But if you sit there and think what would happen if my client load doubled, or if I wanted to increase my client capacity, could these systems grow with me? And oftentimes if you're doing like paper and pen or a notes app, or you're just keeping everybody in your head, then that's actually not going to be a system that grows with you. It's working for now, but we want to be preparing you for future growth. So I think that's where some of like that subconscious fear comes in. It's like, oh, I actually don't want to hop on this sales call because if I do say yes, that's going to be another client and that's going to be more work, and like it just kind of starts to snowball and you get anxious about taking on more clients. I believe when you have the right systems, more clients does not equal more stress. It just equals like more money and more impact and making everything easy and more results, which makes your marketing easier. And so the more clients you can take on, the better, and not in a just like a money grabbing way, but in like, this is like a healthy business and you're excited to take on more people and help more people and make more money. So I think that's where that disconnect is. It's like, it's working, yes, but I think if I grew, it wouldn't be working the way that I need it to work.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people don't think that that is them until they are immediately faced with that. I remember one client in particular of mine, she said that, okay, I want to grow, I want to do all of these things. And then when I said, okay, let's go, let's start doing this, and she felt herself freezing. And I was like, well, why are you freezing? You said that you want to go after this. We have this plan. And for her, it was the gymnastics of all of the things that she needed to do in order to sign a client. So she was like, well, I have to go through and I have to like get the contract together, and then I have to like send all the things and have everything together. And like that process for her, she just felt like it wasn't up to the level that she wanted to have. And she felt a little embarrassed that she felt like she should have things more together, and she didn't. And I think that that was something that a system like an Airtable could have helped her with so easily, where that wouldn't be a barrier for people to sign on and to work with her in loads the way that she wanted to.
And so many clients who care about their client experience would rather take on less clients and take less money to ensure that their client like experience is still top tier. I see a lot of clients that are like, well, I don't want to be one of those scammy service providers that grows and then my results are worse. But with the right systems, that's the opposite. You can be tracking results. You can be proving things are working. You can automate, result submissions or feedback or milestones for your clients so they feel taken care of through your systems and automations while you're taking on more clients. So it doesn't mean like you can still have a high touch experience if you have the right systems while you're growing.
Yeah, and I think that that's also a thing where people can end up feeling behind because they aren't on top of things the way that they want to, and they feel as if I had more, then I would feel even more behind. I can barely keep up with what's happening and what's going on with what I have right now. And so all of this to say, it's like there are tools and solutions that are out there that can help alleviate all of that, where you can feel as expansive as you want to be as far as getting in more clients, getting in more people that you can truly help, and in a way where you're just like, oh no, I can handle this. I can take on more.
It's just such a path to burnout to sell because you need the revenue, and to know that you like, it's that push and pull. It's like, I need revenue. Like, I'm not hitting my income goals. If I take on another client, okay, that might mean that I have to work on the weekends now. Like, you can just start to like, you're just really having to negotiate with your life and your business and all of like, you have to figure out those levers, and yeah, with the right systems it can just be easy.
Yeah, no, it can. So because I talk about marketing all the time, let's talk about that for a little bit. So one of the things that I honestly all the time, all of my clients know that I say this all the time. If you're looking for ideas for content, if you don't know what you should be saying, if you don't know what you should be doing in a launch, as far as, the emails that you should be sending, you need to go back and look at what your clients are telling you. And the clients of mine who have done the best, who have seen the biggest results, they had a place where all of their information for their clients live. They have onboarding forms that are in a centralized location that they can go back and reference. They have client notes that they can easily go back and look to see, like, okay, this is what this client was working on, working through, so that they could come up with very specific and tangible examples of things that they can pull to create marketing that's going to speak directly to their ideal person. Like, those people who have that, even if they do ever feel lost about, I don't know what to say, like they have something to go with. And so I think a lot of people are just like, that feels like a lot of work to be able to have like all of those things together. So because I know that you have a whole client hub,
Yeah.
I would love for you to talk to me about like your thoughts about having client information in a centralized location so that you can create marketing, you can create assets, you can create resources that are actually going to be super helpful for the people that you want to serve.
There's so many different examples of ways that you can use your data and use centralized client information in your marketing. I'll share a couple. One is just the fact of when you have all of your client data in one place, which that's what I teach, is you have an Airtable base that has every client, and when they fill out their onboarding forms, it's connected to their profile. And then if they fill out like a module, they complete a module, they like let you know how it was, any wins that they had, like the results tracking forms, all of these pieces of data that are often just like in silos in Google Forms or inside of these Dubsado forms that you can never actually look at. When it's all centralized in one spot that's easy to export a CSV because so you could throw it into ChatGPT to analyze or something, then that's really that's the first thing is like getting all this stuff centralized means that any question that you have about your business or something you want to use in your marketing can be accessed at your fingertips. So let's say you help people launch websites in your group program and you say it takes 90 days. You can have all of your clients in one spot, and once they launch their website, they submit a form that's like, yay, I launched my website. You can now see macro trends and say, hey, in our last cohort, everybody, like people launched on an average of 27 days to launch their website. That's an email. That's a social post. Like that is one little way to look at the data in an instant to use for your marketing. Something else that we've done, is I launched through webinars, and at the end of when people sign up for a webinar, I have them answer a little questionnaire if they want to. It's optional. It says, hey, are you a coach or service provider? What are you looking to get out of this webinar? What questions do you have about Airtable? I have about 100 of those submissions. And now as I'm making my marketing emails, as I'm making my webinar, I'm not guessing like, who are these people? Like, what do they want to hear from me? I can literally look at that data and say, hey, here's the people who are coming. What are their pain points? I thought they wanted to be like the best in their industry, like all of these like things that I was going to go one direction of the webinar. And it's like, they're stressed out, they're overwhelmed, they can't like, they hate opening up their inbox. And I was like, oh, that's a totally different angle for me to take in the webinar. This is actually what people want. So I'm using that data to make data-driven like decisions and messaging and changes in my marketing.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that say like, I want to go based off of instinct. And a lot of times like that can serve you very well. And then also at the same time, having data to back up of saying, okay, I have a gut feeling that I think a lot of people are stressing about this.
Yeah.
And then having data to support that is like, yes, I'm definitely doubling down. And it's a completely different thing. It's like, I have a gut feeling of like, this is what I want to do. And it might be something that you personally want to do, but that's not the same thing as what the people that you say you want to serve want to do. And so I'm not telling people to like ignore their gut. I'm saying trust your gut and also trust your data that you could collect and see where you can go with that. I just want to answer the like the intuition, like download girlies who are just like, no, but I just have a feeling. I feel you on that, but also your people are telling you what they want. Like they're not being silent, especially if you're asking them. Please listen to the people that you are asking and see how you can work with that so that you can best help them.
Yeah, and that's like, if you want to serve people in your audience and you want them to buy, you have to solve a pain point for them. If you want to go on intuition, start a blog, like start a personal blog that like you just want to write things about, or like free education. But if you want to really sell something, and it's so affirming when you do have that gut instinct and you go check out the data and you're like, oh, that's exactly what they're saying. I know them so well. And to be able to be like, oh, my instinct and the data align. If they're completely separate, then you might have a pretty bit, like, don't be surprised if it doesn't convert as well, because that's not what they wanted. So you can go based on instinct and say, actually, they're saying this, but I want to try this. You're at least making a very concerted effort to be like, they don't want this, but I want to sell this, and so I'm going to try this angle. That's still a grounded decision based on your intuition, but you're going against the data, and you could surprise yourself, but don't be surprised if it doesn't work because the data told you something else.
Correct. Like, know and notice that, but also when the people are telling you something, listen.
Yeah.
Try it out, test it out, just see if that's something that they are actually wanting to do. Because also the people say that they want some things, and other times they're just like, yeah. But you also always want to make sure that you're capturing that in some way, shape, or form. It would behoove you to make sure that that is an integral part of that process. And so one of the questions that I have for you, especially for those beginning stages, I think that the first things that people are thinking about, like, okay, what am I asking people when they are first coming on? I know that a lot of people that I work with, they have some questions on, like, maybe like a Calendly or something along those lines. And they're just like, okay, yeah, like I asked a couple of questions, but in your experience of you being in the back end of a lot of different business owners who are using that information to then pull information and create marketing and make decisions in their businesses, what are the types of questions that people should be asking to really be able to pull out that rich information and that rich data that they can then use later to make great decisions for their business?
Yes, that's such a good question. And to zoom out, I always, before anybody sets up systems, we want to get really clear on the result that offer is promising. So if you are marketing coach, what is the result that you're promising? Are you saying that they're going to double their Instagram following in 90 days? I don't know if people promise that anymore, but let's just use that as an example. You're saying double their Instagram following in 90 days. You want to know their starting point. So that's really important to know. So you want to know, like, what's your current Instagram? Like what's your current Instagram strategy? How often do you post? How much time do you spend on it? What's your current follower count? So you're getting that starting point. And then you can because that's the result you're tracking, everything else is very clear. So then, 30 days in, we say, hey, how many times did you post? How many followers did you have? How much time? So you're basically asking the same set of questions along the journey. And then you're able to see the results. Like, you can make graphs per client or zoom out and say averages. So it's really getting clear on the result that you promise. A lot of people are fuzzy on that. They put too much in, or it's vague, or it's too vague, or they think that they can't track something specific because they have something intangible, like they're a life coach or a relationship coach. But every type of niche can have a result that they can track. So it's getting clear on that, and then getting your starting point questions, and then asking those throughout.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about that, the people that have the, quote, intangible results, because I know that a lot of those people are just like, I'm an executive leadership coach. And so on one hand, there are like some hard things, but on the other hand, they're saying, like, I'm going to help you become a more confident leader. So they're just like, I don't know how to track that. Like, what am I capturing at the beginning and at the end to really show that, yeah, like, I have great results. Like, I can't get a hard data, like, say, a money person who would say, like, I paid off $30,000 of debt, or, things of that, or like a business coach who says, like, oh, I have growth in sales over 45%. Like, those seem to be like very hard based in like numbers. Yep. The non-numbers people are just like, I feel like I've got nothing really. I can just have like feel good stories.
Non-numbers people, feel good stories are great. Those can be case studies, but you can always do a rating system. So you can say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel in hiring the right team members? Or how confident do you feel, or how proud do you feel of your LinkedIn profile? Whatever. Like, it can be, you can make those feeling-based things. How secure do you feel in your marriage? Like, all of those, you can do like a 1 to 10 scale check-in. And what I always recommend with those is to do a kind of a long text field. It says, and why did you rate yourself that way? Because a 1 to 10 can be so subjective. And so, like, somebody, and someday they might be feeling really down on themselves, and they'll 1 to 2. It can really fluctuate. But when you have those feelings based ones, do that and say, why did you give yourself that rating? And then you can see throughout the time. It's like they started at a 2, they're ending at a 9. Don't ask me the percentage increase of that. But people don't necessarily care about, they doubled their confidence, but like they increased their confidence and got a promotion. Or like, so you're partnering those like feel good stories with like actual, like they did increase their confidence, they did increase the security and like belief of security in their marriage or anything like that.
Yeah. Now, I think all of this goes back to confidence in the offer itself. And I think that a lot of people, they they hesitate on marketing their business. They hesitate on trying to get new clients because in the back of their head, they have this thought of, I don't know if I'm actually helping people. And not only with like the big result at the end of the day, but they're just like, sure, like I've helped people and people are coming back, but I've had clients that are saying to me that I don't know why they're coming back, or I don't know what exactly it is that gets people to stay. And so their confidence of just their ability to offer what it is that they're offering is really low. And so their energy or their enthusiasm about marketing their business becomes low. And then it's just this downward spiral that they're in. And so I think that for me, and I'm sure you agree, that a system in place can help to alleviate some of those doubts and insecurities about actually what it is that you offer. And so I would love to hear your perspective on people who have used your systems, who use systems in general to help them boost their confidence of like how they're able to actually help people within their program with small wins and big wins, and then just being more confident of talking about it more and what it is that they can actually do.
Yeah, I think that this definitely plagued me, and I think it plagues women more than men possibly, but it's that like, oh, if people are quiet, they hate me. And it's not like, oh, if they're quiet, everything's going fine. Like that is not where my default brain goes. And like a lot of clients, we love the clients that are like, tagging you in threads about how amazing it is to work with you and sending you unprompted testimonials in your emails and your Slack. That's not the majority of clients. And so when you bake in systems, what I always like to tell people is you're probably getting more results than you think. You just aren't tracking them and you just aren't asking for them. And so once you create the systems and tracking, you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's like, oh, people like me. Like, oh, I'm getting more results than I thought, because people just don't have a channel to tell you how their results are going. And so that's huge, and that can really help your confidence when you're like, I don't know, either they hate me, they love me, or they're indifferent. Like that is, especially if you're about to go into a launch and you're saying like you want to go hard, but you don't have like testimonials because you haven't been asking for them. It can feel like you're like puffing up your chest with not a lot of receipts to back it up with. Mm-hmm. When if you have those receipts because you've been asking them, even when I have those days where I'm like, is this thing even like good? I can be like, oh, there's 150 testimonials that I can pull from. Like objectively, especially if somebody is unhappy, because that happens in every offer, you can be like, this is just a blip, or like how like there's so many more people who I'm getting results for. So it can really be grounding, tracking your results and having all of that in one place can be a very like nervous system nourishing mm-hmm. process and thing in your business.
Oh, absolutely. Like that's whenever I tell my clients who don't have those systems in place, I tell them that's a huge win. Write that down, put that someplace. Exactly. And you need to have that in a place so that you can constantly reaffirm for yourself what it is that you are doing, so that you can say like, I can do this. I can sell more. I can help more people. Mm-hmm. I'm not a complete failure at life.
Totally. Yeah. And just like it's so helpful when you are just getting started, or if you don't have a bunch of clients, you can be like, well, I got this one person this result, I can get another person that result. But like if you don't know what those results are, then it's really hard to build your confidence in that way. So just relying on past data can help you build that confidence.
Yeah. Now, I can already kind of anticipate someone saying like, okay, like that sounds good if you have like a bank of all of this like past information, like being able to fill that in. But I can see someone who's like, I have been in business for a while. I don't have all of these things set up. And it feels intimidating now to say, like, I want to go set this up and I feel like I'm starting from scratch. I have nothing, although I've been in business doing things for a while. What is it that you tell those people in that situation about starting, about getting up and going and like starting to fill in that information?
Yeah, there's the tactical, very like simple way to do it is start with your next client or start with your next launch. So it's like we don't have like it can be very overwhelming to be like, well, I have 5 clients that are already deep within this system in ClickUp or in Google Forms and I don't want to migrate them. You don't have to migrate them yet, but build out your systems knowing that moving forward, this is what we're going to go with. So that can feel very just like a clean start. We love a clean start. And then what's nice about Airtable is most likely if you have a bunch of clients, you probably do have a lot of data that can be really informative. And so we can actually, it's just as simple as doing like an export of your Google form submissions, put them into Airtable, and you can actually connect. You will at some point when you're ready, like backlog your client hub with all your past clients, and you're already starting the new system with all of this amazing data. You're like, damn, I have done some work. Like you have a lot of like data and forms and client results, and you can start to flesh them out into your client hub when you're ready for that. But if that feels too overwhelming, I always just say like start with the next client, start with the next launch, start with the next offer. Even sometimes people are launching an offer for the first time. They have a group program and now they're doing a mastermind. They're like, the group program systems are way too complicated for me to mess with. I'm like, great, start the new Airtable systems with the mastermind, see how simple that is to run, and then we'll figure out the historical stuff later.
No, yeah, I think that a lot of people are definitely just like they speaking. I'll you know what? I'll just be honest. I'll speak for me as someone who feels like I need to have everything done perfectly, and there's like this level of guilt. I think some people feel like I should have been doing something like this all along, and there's a feeling of shame of why wasn't I doing this all along? Why wasn't I collecting all this information? I should have been doing that. And I think that a lot of that comes into play also, just like, oh, I could have been more on top of and doing more and all of these other things. I think to your point, just starting with the next one is the next best step that you can do. You can shame yourself forever for not having had the option of asking testimonials at the end. You could have shamed yourself forever saying like I wasn't asking the right questions so that like I wasn't tracking like the results and seeing the progress over time. You could do that forever and you will end up staying exactly where you are because you're just like I should have been doing that. But when you know that there are resources and other things that are available, you can say like, okay, I didn't know before. I didn't have access or the capacity or availability, but I'm going to start now with what it is that I do have. And I want anyone who's thinking about that just to know that like that is fine. That is okay. And you can get up and going in a way that feels good for you.
Yeah, and like shame really does keep you stuck. And the more that you can get out of shame, I have had that in my own offer. I'm a systems expert, and like I would feel embarrassed about not having my re-sign system set up yet. And so then I wait another month because I'm embarrassed that I didn't have it before. It's like, well, then there's another. And it's like, once I just give myself the grace of like, you didn't have it and now you get to have it. And it just makes things so much like, I always like to say like, it's so exciting now that you have these new systems and like you are a brilliant person that you could run a business out of manual work and spreadsheets and a system that like isn't like is so manual and clunky. Like that is something to celebrate. Like, wow, I did it the hard way for so long. Now there's an easy way, there's a simple solution, and like I can do this. And like it just feels like I think that a lot of people get really embarrassed when they come to me. They're like, oh, I don't want to show you my spreadsheets, they're so messy. I'm like, you've been paying your bills like with this business and with these systems. Like these systems have been working for you, and that is something to celebrate. And I'm never judgmental of anybody's systems when they come in, and it's like, cool, let's take that and let's just get you more relief, more ease so you can keep growing. So it's just a natural progression of business.
Yeah, no, you're always going to find something else that's new. Just like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. I wish I had started doing this sooner. And sure, of course. And you're going to start now.
Yeah.
to start now and be so grateful that there are people out there that can also provide and offer support on that process so you don't have to do that and learn all of this alone, because some people are just like, oh, I'm very apprehensive about learning new things. Like, when you're also able to find other people who can support you through that process as well, I think that that is very, very powerful and empowering of being able to be like, oh, like I didn't even imagine that I could offer this up as a resource or as an outreach or as something else that I could do. So kind of segueing to like I know that you have your offer that you do with people. When people come in and start to work with you and learn about the power of Airtable and all the things that it can do, what are some of the things that people are just like, oh, I didn't even realize that I could be doing this with this system?
So often people don't understand how robust the automations are, specifically email automations. So you can connect your Gmail account and you can send emails to your clients based on a bunch of different interactions, conditions. So you can say, if a client hasn't submitted their onboarding form in 7 days, send them an email. Or you can have we teach automated call notes method. So you can be on a sales call with a client and you can click send draft call notes template. You can write your email subject line and body right into Airtable and say send to client, and it'll send it to them, all without you having to go to your Gmail. And as somebody who will get very distracted by my inbox, it's really, and would drop the ball on following up, sending sales call follow-ups because of that. Those things are really, really helpful. And just anytime if somebody submits a form, send an email, or if they hit a milestone, send an email. Just there's so many internal automations that it can do, and there's a lot that it can do, to alert your team through Slack. There's just I think people really don't know all of the power of the automation side.
So I want to focus a little bit about the internal workings of it. So internal workings of how you can engage with your current clients. So I think that from a marketing side, I think people can kind of understand of, having a place where past emails and content lives. Yeah. But I would love to know how it is that, you can use Airtable to stay engaged with current clients, because I think that a lot of people spend a lot of time focusing on marketing and reaching out to people on the outside world. But I would love to hear your thoughts of engaging and staying engaged with people who are already clients, and how you manage and maintain that in a way that doesn't feel that's extra work that I have to do to keep and maintain relationships with, my current cohort of clients.
Exactly. So with Airtable, like I've said, everything about your clients is in one spot. So you don't have your notes in Dubsado and your forms in Google Forms or anything like that. It's all inside of Airtable. And so what happens, let's say you have a one-on-one with a client. One of my clients who uses our systems, she actually had a client. It was one of her last calls in her package together. So Steph opened up this client's call note, her profile, and she could see all 14 calls that she's had with that client, all of the notes, all of the action steps. So you come to a call, you're never being what did I talk about with that person last time? Because sometimes you meet with them monthly, quarterly, you're scrambling, or you're you get them mixed up with another client, you pop it open, and then just everything is there. So you don't have to spend an extra 30 minutes per call prepping. There's no call prep, which I think is huge. But you not only have the call notes, but because she was tracking results as well, it was getting to the end of their time together. And the client just kind of said oh, well, I haven't made my ROI back in this program, so I'm probably not going to re-sign. And because Steph had all of her revenue submissions, she could see, hey, you're only $500 away from breaking even in this program. Let's actually spend this call thinking about ways you could make $500 in the next 2 days. And she had that data. She did that. The client made the $500, and she re-signed into a $6,000 program because she was that client was going to leave that offer thinking, I didn't get the ROI out of this program. Instead, because Steph had the receipts, she had the client notes, that client felt very seen, taken care of, supported, she re-signed. And so that's the type of like high level interactions you can have with the client when you have all their data at your fingertips.
Yeah. And that's what I like to call like internal marketing. I think a lot of people focus a lot of time on like the retention or the incoming new clients, which is great, but it takes less energy to get your existing people on board and reaffirming. And I'm sure that there's probably also a system you could have in place of saying, like, this is your progress so far, like, this is what you've been able to do, so that people are just like, oh, yeah, like, I'm making progress, or I'm not where I said that I wanted to be. Like, what do I need to be doing so that you all can work together for that?
Yep.
And I think that's such a powerful tool to make sure that you as the coach, as the service provider, are doing the things that like you need to do, but then also that your client knows that like, oh, like I also have a role in this as well, like what do I need to be doing, and so that you can work together on that, so that you have this like, we're working in this together type of relationship. We're going to get this done. But when you don't have any of that information, when you don't have it at your fingertips, then to your point, like, would have lost that client, and there wouldn't have been any recommendations, referrals, or any of those types of things, just because you just didn't have that information at your fingertips.
Yeah, and we also have like ghosting automations too. So like if somebody hasn't submitted a results form in 60 days, send them an email, say, hey, we haven't seen you submit something. Is everything okay? You want to hop into the program? As a reminder, here's the total amount that we've seen you submit so far. Like if if you've made more and you want to fill that out, like your Airtable can reference everything they've submitted, send those automated reminders, and those are really helpful, I think, especially as you're doing your job, you're doing your business, and you are like, I haven't heard from that person in a while. Instead of having to remember everybody and where they're at, you can set up those automations that check in, and at least I call them, they kind of like open the door to communication and reconnection again. So the first email is automated, but if they respond and they're like, yeah, I have been struggling, that gives you an opportunity to re-engage them before they just kind of like quietly, don't renew, and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah. And I think really at the core of all of this is just making sure that you can make the best decisions that you can possibly to help you run your business, and do it confidently. Like being able to confidently say, like, I know that I have things set up so that I can successfully sign my next client. I know that I have things set up so that and we didn't even talk about this, but like, say if you were, not feeling great, and like, I still want to have content up there, like, you can have a place in a database where it's just like, let me go and find like an old email and like send that again. Like, all of those different types of things, when you have information knowledge centralized for that, like, that gives you the confidence to know, like, I can run my business and I can run it when I'm at like 50% capacity, not like running at 100, but like I could still run this if I'm like not even feeling my best, and it will not fall apart on me.
Yeah.
And I love that you help people with being able to do that on a sustainable basis.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I first started my business, like I couldn't do the things that like normal business owners, quote unquote, like said, like, oh, just every Monday follow up with your leads. I'm like, I'm not going to do that, because who knows if Monday if I want to get out of bed. Like I need my systems to be automated to work for me, to automatically track things, because I do not know what my capacity is going to be like because of my depression, because of my ADHD, because of all these different things. And so I was doing that when I just had 1 to 3 clients, because that's what I knew. But the systems that I created to help me just like function were also the ones I didn't realize would help me scale, because neurodivergent or not, you can't keep track of 50 people in your head. You can't keep track of 15 people and all those clients in your head. So setting up those systems when you just have 1 or 2 is helpful, because as you bring in more, it just like it's you get to focus on, instead of like putting out fires and creating systems because you need them, you're like, oh, they're already created, and now people can just easily step into them and kind of be on the journey with me.
Yes, that's so great. I know that you have coming up a webinar, and also the doors are opening to your program where you go even deeper into all of this. So I would love for you to share with the people what it is that they get when they work with you and when they join your program.
Yeah, so the masterclass is on the 29th, September 29th. It's called Double Your Client Roster, Work Less Hours, and Get Better Results with Systems and Automation. So we're going to be going into all of this and also doing a lot of screen shares and demos of like what actually Airtable looks like. So the purpose of that class is really to show you the Client Hub system that I have and that I've spent 6 years building and have run through with hundreds of clients. Airtable is a very powerful system, but you really need a template that is like built with you and your use case in mind, and that's what I sell. So once you're like, yes, I need this Airtable system, Systems Over Stress is my 12-month system support container where we help you set it up and maintain it. So everybody who joins between the September 29th and October 6th gets a free 3-hour build day with me or one of my team members. So if you're like, I love this system, but like this is scary to set up, or I'm afraid of new tech, or you get all of the templates so you can set it up yourself, but you get to decide when you want to use that build day with us. So you get a free 3-hour build day, you get all of the templates, and you get 12 months of support ticketing system, because your systems are going to refine as you do a launch or as you start to add a new offer, or you want to see, can I add this to my offer? We love to be able to really help you use Airtable to its biggest capacity. And all of that, it's a 12-month container, and it's $2,500, or there's a payment plan as well. So it's a really great investment if you are like, I know systems are important. And if you don't know systems are important yet and you're not sold on that, come to the masterclass, because by the end of it, you'll be like, I need systems, and this is the right system that I need. But that's what we've got going on. And it's just like, it's a great container. I've sold the same thing for the last 5 years. So it's like, we've added so many features to, whether you're super into tech or you're scared of tech, like there's just so many different resources to be able to support you to get it set up.
Yeah. As a marketing person, I co-sign having a system. Like you can't do marketing well without them. So definitely go and check that out. I will have the links to be able to register or to go and look more at the offer in the show notes. So definitely go and check it out and register there. Ashley, I just want to say thank you so much for having this chat with me. If people want to connect with you a little bit more, where can they go and find you?
Yes, please go slide into my DMs. I'm at Systems Over Stress. I love a voice memo. Let me know you came from the podcast, and I will answer any questions you have about Airtable, about client results, about automated onboarding, offboarding, whatever you got. I'd love to chat with you. So Instagram at Systems Over Stress is where to find me.
Perfect. And of course, those will also be in the show notes as well. Ashley, thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking with you. And until next time, everyone, we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Talk soon.
If you want more marketing that works right in your inbox, head to the show notes and sign up for the email list. You'll be the first to know how you can work with me on mastering your marketing.